Hello there everyone, now today we're going to be reviewing another flame twist kit. Yeah, I know, I've done these so many at this point, then done kit afterwards, I know, I get it. It's tiring to see two kits a week apart. But yet again, who knows. Today we're going to look at the furai, or the furai, Flame Toys windblade. Now this is a figure that I really didn't expect to buy myself because this thing is at least 45, so think about what you want. I will say this figure can't stand properly. It's really hard to. The thing with this figure, it looks good, but it can't seem to stand, which is the problem for it. I try my best for it, and I do have some model kits with me to criticize with it. Because this is a very, good sized model kit for once. And I will say, this is going based off the IDW style. Uh, well, it is going based on the IDW, but it's very stylized too. So we're going to have two styles technically of the comic and their variety. But let's take a closer look at the accessories and everything else. And I will say I did paint it a lot more than I really should. Let's look. Now here's Windblade. I did a lot more work than it really should have done. Let's take a closer look at the figure. I know I do flip flop between figure and off figure. Sometimes the accessories first, sometimes not. Now, Windblade herself looks fantastic because, like I said, it's a very stylized, and I will say the kibble on the back of it, pretty decent looking. The parts of it that makes the jet mode looks pretty good. I will say, do remember this part coming off them. Because sometimes it wants to come off for no reason. It's a little annoying. Okay, so making sure. And I did line it a lot. So line here, the actual blades too. The arms had to be lined under the wings, on these parts, on the arms, the top of the head. A lot of it be line too, which is surprisingly for a figure this big, it's actually really good for detail. Articulation wise, pretty good. So it's a single bend of the arm, which makes sense. You don't really need a lot of bend of the arm. It does rotate the arm too, so you can get certain poses out of it too. The hands are on a ball joint that you can see, but it does pop out. So you can pop the hand out, put the extra hand in, and change it. But it does give you a lot of angle. So you can aim downwards, more upwards, or have the ball at a certain angle, and then make it look a lot more cooler. And I did have a problem trying to figure the shoulder pieces out, but they're blue. So I will tell you that part. But down here it's gold. So gold here, gold here. Well, this part had to be painted. You need to do that yourself. So certain parts you need to paint. So these parts, a lot of it you need to do yourself, which is crazy to believe. Which I don't mind. The only thing that really comes off a lot often is just the parts for the knees. These parts are annoying, so I'm gonna be honest here. That is a little annoying. The feet are a weird thing. It does go up and down. It does have a pivot, so you go that far and this far. Knees are double jointed, so you can really get some good poses if you know what you're doing. And I will say it looks fantastic, really. And I will say it is for the head is on a tight ball joint. I'm not joking. This is really tight. So you can look. It's a full ball joint. So 4360 like usual. Looks down that far, which is kind of cool, and barely looks any. But due to the joint in the neck, you can get a lot more farther down, which looks really cool. The hips, these are on a drop point, kind of like Prime is. It does go a little more farther out, so you can see it pop out right here. Which makes sense. You always can't get that kind of joint. These do, the wings, or the things do move up and down, so they can't get out of the way. These parts do also move also, which is really kind of cool. So you can get good amount of poses. And I will say I did do a lot of work on these. They don't tell you where to put certain things either, which is kind of whoops. Damn the gooch. Do be cautious because some parts do like to pop out. And I will say when they pop out, they will pop out. So I would say the build of this is actually a little more unique compared to like Bumblebee, Megatron, and some of the others, because they aren't a little more. They are like straightforward. This one isn't. I'm gonna be honest here. The hips right here, or sorry, the thighs. If you're in the thighs, does swivel a lot. Makes sense. And I will say it does, and I will say the butt part here does move, which is really good. But there's no skirt pieces either, which is surprisingly weird because like I'm into having skirt pieces on a character. Now let's do some size comparison because I will say this figure is pretty good. We're trying to say it's a bit of a nightmare because it's hard to get it done. Here's the high grade Barbatos. Stand, you bastard. Here is Bumblebee. Focus. Bumblebee, which is really good because Bumblebee is a small figure. It makes sense why. And here is the last review, the Kindaboo Mark II. And it is really good comparing to a different series that I see. So, accessory-wise, you get two closed hands, which I will say do glue them in because they will want to pop out a lot frequently. I did that the night before. And you get the blades, which I think I like the color on these. These are cool looking blades, and you get two of them. But they do have the issue of wanting to pop out. Especially right here, they want to pop this part sometimes out, which is kind of annoying. So you just slide these in. There you go. And I will say, if you didn't glue them in, these would pop out frequently, and it's annoying to do with. It is a good fit too. They won't come out. Now, to take the hand out, make sure, okay, with this, make sure that the hand joint is on the ball, not the other joint. And then put the hand in. And you do get a really, really freaking cool character. And I will say, it's not really sharp. It is a, not that sharp of plastic, which I do like, accessory-wise. And the hand does, and yes, you want to know, it can go upside down too, in case you want to have that kind of style. So you can have it upside down too, in case you're into that kind of build. But there you go, slide that in. But sometimes these things are a little annoying to get in because sometimes they're not really easy to get into. Just if you can figure it out, figure it out. Pop, and that's what I mean. These parts are like this. This is what kind of joint it is. It's a little bit of a soft, a little bit annoying, especially with this hand. It does not want to do its job. Just pop that in, and then pop that back in. And there you go. You got Windblade with her blades. It's hard to do specific poses too. However, since the figure is so, I want to say, a little difficult to really get into certain poses, so you do need a stand for it. If you don't have a stand, it's going to be a little impossible. But you can figure it out. You really can. but you can do certain poses. So yeah. Let's get to my final thoughts. Now, should you get this figure? I would say yes, because it is a fantastic figure if you can find it. However, this is what I'm saying. These Phantom kits are a little hard to get, especially if you're looking for certain ones. If you're looking for older kits, go try to get those because those are a bit of a struggle. This one in particular, I did buy from the Big Bad Toy Store, but she did sell out. Um, but I will say, when the Big Bad Toy Store, or it's Flame Toys, they will update their part of it, and they will have older figures release again. So basically, they will re-release a older figure again, so you can pick it up, while basically releasing newer ones. Because I did buy Hound, and he was an older kid. He came out around a year or so ago, or around that time. Megatron came out around last year too. I also bought him, well, I didn't buy him. But as I'm saying, it's like certain kits are hard to get, which I fully understand if you can't get these kits, because yes, you are paying a hefty price. You're looking at paying between $45 to $100. Depends on what site you're looking at. Sometimes you can get it at a decent pricing if you're looking in the correct areas. I will say this figure does have its problems of it can't stand very well, and if it had a stand included. That's the thing, it should have came with a stand, to help it really stand, or like give it like a stand so in general, to make sure if it's a smaller figure like this, you are paying for the price of like how much you're paying for. It's a ridiculous getting this figure. Yes it is. Because it is a decent looking figure and model kit. I will say if you are building a Flame Toys how can you say it? Case, like bookshelf of them, it'd be really good for that, because you are looking at a decent sized figure, and she is the size of Prime. Big size of Prime, Megatron, G1, and IDW version, and Starscream, but smaller than Devastator, which makes sense. You are paying for a decent sized figure with a lot of this with some accessories, not every accessory included, but a lot of accessories you are paying for. That's Hound. Hound is one that cost me like $70. But he came with a lot of accessories, because he came with his thing on the shoulder, then his minigun, a stick, a mashed potato grenade, or masher, and a knife, and extra hands too. So certain characters come with more or less, depends on what you're getting. But windblade being a specific type of figure, and coming from the comics, yeah, she is from the comics, but she also is appearing in shows too, as of recently. I mean, it's been a few years, but she is getting a little more popular, so yeah. That should be it for this review. I'm gonna I think it should be my link tree, which is in my description, over everything for the intro and outro and stuff like that. So, peace out.